flap valve is designed to prevent the propagation of explosions in pipes. These things, they slam shut when high pressure or flow comes rushing down the pipe due to an explosion. They slam shut and keep the combustion products on one side from propagating to a different section of the pipe, which may be connected to a very large inventory. Thereby, they limit explosion consequence. Obviously, for flap valves to work, high pressure must be maintained on the explosion side of the flap valve. Does that always work? Have you ever tried modeling one? Here's a simulation we ran with ExploCFD very quickly this morning after a conversation with a dust explosion expert. You could see the overpressure propagating, and this pipe is completely open. The flap valve is open. And pretty soon, you're going to see the flap valve slam shut there. And now the region where the explosion occurred is actually now isolated. But, of course, there is some high pressure gas that escapes into the region that you want to isolate before the valve slams shut. Well, this high pressure gas can be reflected off bends and dead ends in the piping after the flap valve and come back and impinge on the flap valve from the other side. This means it is possible that the pressure on the side that's isolated is higher than the pressure on the explosion side. Of course, this can break the valve or force it open. If we take a look at the pressures on both sides of the valve, with blue being the explosion side and red being the isolated side, for the most part, the pressures are higher on the explosion side. There is a small difference at this time, but look over here. There's a large pressure difference. And this is acting over some period of time as well, and may allow the valve to at least slightly open again. And if the combustion on the explosion side has not been quenched yet, then it is possible that this period of time where the overpressure is higher on the isolated side than the explosion side will allow for combustion to actually propagate through. In other words, it won't stay slammed shut. It will slightly open or break and let the flames through to the isolated side. This calculation took 15 minutes on ExploCFD. Still working with overly simplistic or unnecessarily complicated models? Maybe it's time you gave ExploCFD a try.